public comments.
Yeah.
Okay. AT&T says it's 5 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get the budget workshop going. Everyone should have got a packet and got an agenda for our budget workshop, and there's a few housekeeping things, a few things we got to get out of the way. We got some transfers, and then we'll discuss the certified rate, and then hopefully we'll get into 171 capital projects review, and then revenue review, and we'll go down the list. First and foremost, transfers and/or amendments. In your packet, there should have been 2 transfers. I think is all we've got. The first transfer was from budget code 116 from 39,000 fund balance, a sum total of $816.32, and that's transferring to 55,739,312 contracts with private agencies. That same sum of $816.32. And I'll need a motion in a second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Tommy. Who's got the second? Brian Walker.
What is it?
That was a last minute June invoice for tires that came in. I had it balanced out for the year and another June invoice came in, so it put it back over again.
So this is for a set of tires.
It'll back up into June into last fiscal year.
Any other questions on this transfer? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item, I believe this is the last transfer, right?
This is it.
The next item that we have was transferring from budget code 101 from 39,000 fund balance, a sum total of $1,811, and that's transferring to 58,400,510 trustees commission. That same amount, 1,811.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Tommy, second from Brian. Ruling this time, right? Any questions, concerns around this? This is just the trustees of Fee's office, and this is just
From his June receipts.
From his June
Receipts
receipts, okay.
put his trustee commission over again. So. Just closing out June.
any other questions, concerns? There being none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. Maybe a short meeting, my voice ain't working too good. All right,
James is on his way down the room, skip to 171 if you want to.
all right. What is you gonna have James discuss the certified rate?
Yeah,
Or?
just talk about it.
He's on his way up the steps.
He's right.
Oh, is he? Okay. But he's here, so.
He's here. We'll pause for a second and give him time to come on in. The man of the hour. Come on in, James.
James, come on.
James, come on up.
Sit right here. I'm gonna sit up on this side.
So I'll tee it off. In your packet, there was a letter that came through explaining the certified rate from the comptroller, and they're looking for approval. Now, on that, they also attached there's a notice there if we intend to exceed the certified rate, which I don't think no one at this table wants to exceed the certified rate at all. So with that, the new certified rate came in at $1.4582 on 100. As a comparison, last year it was $1.8366. And I teed it up, James. Go ahead and hit a home run.
Well, what's the question?
Just
Because,
talk about the process.
Just the
what it
process,
is and what
yeah.
the number means as far as the cut. That's what-
okay, I think I talked about the last meeting, about the 6-year reappraisal cycle, and we're in the midpoint in the year 2026. The law that deals with reappraisal says that in that middle year, the state has to come in and do a ratio study between the appraisals that were set in 2023 and where they are now, at least where the market is at right now. They do that study of sales that took place that are recorded and use those sales to generate a chart of how the market's going. And so when there's a difference of over 10%, then you have a CDU. And that's what happened to us this year. They said the market on residential properties should be around 25% higher. And so that factor was put into the system and everybody's property was adjusted by 25%. So when that happens, they also say that it's supposed to be property tax revenue neutral. To make that happen, they go back and pull the total property tax revenue from the previous year, 2025, and bring it over to 2026. So you've raised the value, the appraisals, and to get the same amount of money, you'd have to lower the tax rate. And that's what's took place. That's what Mr.
Right.
Barger read there. And so that new tax rate brings in the same money as the previous year. Now, there will be some growth money, and I think that shows up in maybe the numbers you've looked at.
Yep.
But in general, for most people, and you got to remember this shoots at sort of a medium, so there'll be some people who'll see their taxes actually lower, and there'll be some that see it go up a little bit, but it's pretty close to neutral. It's not a perfect world. Everything doesn't work on a dime, just perfectly. So there's some variation there, but very little change. Now, if you're a person who's, say, built a new home, or you've removed a trailer, say, from your property, you might see a difference then because of that. But if everything remained the same, you should see it come in at the same property tax. And I've looked at probably 10 different parcels since I've received those numbers, and in all but one case, it is actually a little bit lower than last year.
Is the process exactly the same in 2029 when we reach that 6-year point?
It works sort of the same. The only difference is they'll bring in a tax rate, certified tax rate. I don't know what our situation will be with the county of whether you'll need more money than what that'll generate, but the process is the same.
James, what's the chances of us going to a 5-year or possibly 4-year reappraisal system to avoid the CBU fee?
Well, what I understand is that the comptroller is going to change those reappraisal links down to either 4, 3, or 2. For example, for us, we would probably ought to go to a 4 because we're a small county. Somewhere like Hamilton County will probably go to a 2-year. And I don't know, maybe Coffee County might go to a 5-year, I mean, not a 5, a 3-year.
That process will have to be kind of like this last one, right? If the state or the comptroller changes that, the county commission will have to pass a resolution
Right.
stating whether we want 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, or whatever the limits are.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that'll become law. That'll be what the choices are.
So when does that clock start? Let's say ours winds up being 4
I
years.
was told that it would start when we finish the current plan that we're on.
Or a
Because
6-year plan.
our
So
6
6
year,
years.
so in 2029, after that reappraisal's done, the assessor has to present a plan to the comptroller. And so that's when the county will have to make that decision.
How many, as far as growth, can you quantify that a little bit better?
Growth would be additional construction that took place for the 2026 year as of January 1st. There would be some, if a house was, say, under construction, it could be prorated for this year and go on at 100% for 2027. And we still got a lot more to pick up. We're not done with that.
Is that number still around 400 properties?
I'm not sure. 300, 400, I'd say.
And then what's the, I mean, if you were to estimate, and I know it's.
That's too much variance there.
So I mean, is there a median property value in the county, like 250,000?
Should be lower.
Yeah.
In the last census, the average price of the house in the county was $152,000 each, according to the last census.
I was gonna say 200,000, but I mean, I'm just shooting in the dark. I don't know. I'm
Just to
not
get
looking
some
at that.
sense of where, yeah.
But I will tell you that the houses that are being built usually fall in the category of larger
Right.
or smaller.
Yep.
James, we talked about it a little bit, and I know the answer to this, but there's, in the formula of the certified rate, we run a spreadsheet. Tommy, I know, presented this to Grandview the other night, and it actually showed, except in the certified rate, if nothing changed, that the actual tax bill would decrease.
For
Is
a
that-
lot,
is
for a
that-
lot of homes it will, a lot of parcels.
I mean, knowing that they didn't pave the driveway, concrete something, build an outbuilding, whatever.
Right. I've also had a lot of questions about what if you feel like yours is too high or maybe too low. In some cases, I've been asked about too low. One of the first things I'd say that a person should do is get a copy of our appraisal of that property and look at what's on our appraisal card, because that's how you're getting appraised. In the appeal process, we found a few houses where maybe the basement was only partially finished instead of fully finished, or the upstairs had an open area. You know, we do most of our work from the outside of a house, so it's easy to miss something like an open area that goes on the second floor. And those things can make a difference in the value of the house.
Yep.
And then that goes on down to the property taxes.
And one of the things that I wanted to ask is, I was mulling this over and I tried to look some of the stuff up yesterday as I was had a little bit of downtime, but and the way I read the letter that's in our packet, right, is that regardless of, because when we finish out the budget and present the budget and everything, we'll have a resolution to set the tax rate. But tonight, for us and for the commission meeting, is we're expected to vote to accept this rate. Right?
Yes.
That's
I
that's the way I read it, right?
I think that's correct.
And by doing that, we either stay at this rate or go lower, because we don't feel like this thing to set that rate higher.
Well, you're actually able to do it either way.
Yeah, well, you still got to fill out the thing and all that, but just kind of procedurally, how this is going to work, we will need a motion and a second out of this committee to accept the certified tax rate of 1.4582.
I will make that form of motion that we accept the certified tax rate as presented.
Second.
Venero, is that you? I just want to make sure I'm getting the procedure right. We do need to accept this rate. All right, any other questions? There being none, all in favor of accepting the certified tax rate at $1.4582? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Appreciate it, John.
You're welcome. If anyone has any questions, you know where I'm at. Thank you.
All right, so next on the agenda was, and Mr. Cartwright, you're back in the hot seat, the 171 capital projects review.
Yeah, each of you should have received a draft copy of the budget. This is only a draft. How this process works is I typically start the budget. Brenda runs over it, crunches the numbers. We get back together to put our heads together. We hand it off to Barker. He runs the numbers with both of us. We kind of triple check these things. I also bring Larry Lockhart and James into the mix, specifically on revenues to make sure the revenues are somewhat compliant. I will make this note in 101 that the jail inmate, we did a little key punch error in that. It showed 950. We're going to amend that to 850. Simply a mistake. We've taken in almost $1 million in inmate fees, but we just thought we don't want to go up that much at this point. So we want to be able to lower that revenue to $850,000. Just note for that. In your budgets, 171, the capital projects fund, has 95% of the time is used for grant in and outs. The revenue that we receive from a grant plus the expenditures we expend on that said grant. This year's budget, we have a bragg grant that's not in that 171 because my understanding is that's going to flow directly to the Industrial Development Board. Now, if that changes, we'll come back and say it's not. There's no match to it. The bragg grant is for cleanup on the Carlisle project whenever that gets started. Now, we've had this grant. We had one in 24. We never did use the money. They, I guess, upped it again in 2026. I don't know that we'll get it cleaned up this year, but I hope so. So it's not in our budget for right now. I'm just giving you a heads up. If something happens, it does flow through the county instead of our Industrial Development Board, I'll be back. But there is absolutely unequivocally zero match to that grant. The big grant that is budgeted for in 171 is the CCF grant, the Communities Facilities Grant. It's $2 million. It is for the upgrades and improvement, roof, plumbing, electrical on the old middle school here on Hurd Street. Now that grant, we have expensed some money, Brenda, I don't know how much, but about $65,000 in last year's grant for engineering, surveying, that sort of thing that we had to be done. The building we had it on the tax card, it's about 41,000 square feet. It's actually 38,000. We had a TVA system brought in to actually take a machine and measure every square inch of it, so about 38,000 square feet for the old school. That grant is to get started. It's scheduled to be finished in October, but like most grants that even happened this year, CDBG was extended another year. This grant probably going to be extended. We don't know that, but we are planning to get started on that pretty quick. We actually have done, like I said, the engineering and the survey work on that and paid those bills. Now this is reimbursement. Also in 171, I've put in a transfer in line from 101 for $100,000. Actually, the transfer out in 101 is $350, $175 to the Highway Department, $75 to Solid Waste, and then $100,000 to the Capital Projects Fund. That being because this is a reimbursement grant. Our fund balance in that account's about $650,000. If we were to get an invoice for right at $600,000 or $700,000 in one invoice, we wouldn't have the money in that invoice. So I've put in a transfer of $100,000 to facilitate that possible necessity. So typically they are good. The development district will be administering this grant. They work with us splendidly in billing and timely receivership of reimbursement. They know what limits us. We can't just expel $2 million, pay for that up front without getting some reimbursement. So that'll be incrementally billed so that we can, at a timely basis, get those monies back. Now, we have talked about several things. Tommy, we've talked about a capital projects plan. Now, Tommy, I want to give you a little leeway here, and we've talked about some things, and I just kind of need to know what else to put in there. If we have any, we talked about monies going to the individual districts or the outlying districts, let me say that, in this county for that 171 capital projects fund. Tommy?
So the thought process, and we've talked about it, is how can we do things outside of the general city-based districts to put money back into the outlying districts to help for, recreation, those type of things where people don't get the same benefit as if they lived right here local. And the whole thought was, okay, we do a good job here in the valley, but what if we invest some money back in our local districts? And the whole thought is, in the five outlying areas, put $20,000 each into capital projects. So $100,000 line item in capital projects earmarked for these outlying areas to be used for recreation type items.
And this could also be used for possible grants that we have applied for the in and out for those specific sub-funds.
So that's the whole thought process. Let's do things other than doing everything just locally. Let's do things in some outlying areas and to help.
Now, I'm going to say at this point, before anybody has any questions, this is a draft budget. Every fund is revenue over expenditures, and you can see that by the budgets you have, the draft budgets. Now, if this committee wants to change something, we can easily do that before the 3rd when I present whatever changes you want in there as a committee. So we need to decide tonight what stays, what goes, what's added, what's taken out. So it's going to be a little bit tedious. Barbara will lead us through this, and Brenda. And if you've got any question, ask those questions. So I'm just saying that up front.
So I have a question on the capital projects money.
Yes.
I mean, is that in this budget right now? I mean, is there a line item for that?
No, we don't have one
Okay.
in there, but we can easily make a sub-fund line item for other construction, playground instruction. We could call it, we can name it anything from the state chart of accounts.
Well, the reason I'm asking the question is we have our first planning session with the development district up on Lewis Chapel on
Yes.
Thursday.
Yes.
So I guess, that 20,000 that could potentially be earmarked for our mountain, is that in addition to, what does it cover?
No.
I guess that would be different than a grant that the development district will go over after we actually do the plan.
Well, after we create a line item for revenue and/or expenditures, that line item is used to flow that grant through this, for this
Okay.
specific cause. Now, the 20,000, I think we put in place, Linda. I think we placed that 100,000 in there in that specific line item. And,
So really, out of respect to that, if you look at the other economic community development, we already have a line item placeholder for those type items.
Correct.
Which is 171, 58190, 309, or the 791, either one.
are you looking at the expenditure side,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
309, is that what you're looking at?
309 is what we've got
Or
that CCF.
791.
And we've got the
791.
CCF grant in there, that 2 million.
791 is other.
791 is other, yeah.
Okay.
Page
Page
30.
30.
All right.
791, I got it. Other construction, we have a placer in that 25 right now.
So that might be a good placeholder.
Okay, let's
So,
put that.
Commissioner Venero, he said, hey, and the scope is penciled out in a draft form. I forgot to email it to Keith today. Basically, the two commissioners out of the district got to agree and bring it forth to Keith. And the money would be expended straight from Keith's office, not through the communities. This is not to go put the money in the bank and sit on it. It's to be spent and put into use into the districts. That's the whole purpose. Let it be used back to the benefit of the district.
So who would have to own the property if there was a playground developed?
Well, I'm not sure how that would work, because it is, we insure the property, we don't own the property, it's owned by the community. It used to be a school building, I suppose most community centers are. The way I understand it, as long as it's used as a community center, it's theirs, we insure those properties. It may be a co-applicant situation where we co-apply with the community center. The development district will know how to proceed forward with that application process.
Or if there was a property acquired?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would be county property, or?
Well, if the county bought it, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could an individual do like a legacy lease?
Say it
Could an
again.
individual in the community do like a legacy lease with the county?
They possibly could,
Because
yes.
I know, I've got some property in Conrad, I would be interested in doing that.
Is that the old schoolhouse?
Yeah. However, Tommy brought up 20 grand, I just built 2 playgrounds, 20 grand will get you about 2 playground pieces about the size of that
Yeah.
house. So we're gonna need more money.
Well, the grants, what we're looking at, we're
Yeah.
looked at a plan, Linda and them have a meeting up there at District 1, I know coming up, we'll have more
But
information.
if you get with me, if we can do something like that, I would.
Listen, I don't want you bragging about what South Pittsburgh's at, I got a tour down there, so.
Hey, it's a conflict down, they're paying me $100 grand a year, by the way, apparently, which is not for everybody.
But that's something else.
I have a question. If the money is not designated or spent by the end of that year.
It rolls back into the fund
Comes
balance.
back.
It
to
rolls
the
back
county.
into
It goes back into the fund balance. Each year, whatever money's not expected.
That's the way with all these
Well,
balances.
that's what I'm sitting there thinking, or do they get down to the last week or two and decide, hey, we need to spend it?
And like I say, the 2 commissioners from the district and the county executive
Yeah.
have to be in agreement, sign off, because the county executive's office is going to want to write the check.
So, here's what we need. So we're looking to do a placement of 100 grand in that line item, in the 791 line.
Yes.
So, let's do.
Instead of 25.
We got a motion.
Second.
Got a second in that.
But the motion, just to clarify, the motion is based on all 3, 2 commissioners and the county executive have to agree on the disbursement of the money.
Correct.
Are you talking in addition to the 25 or
Yeah.
just a total of 25?
Well, I mean,
Well-
that 25 was a place where we could do 100,000. I don't care.
Well, that was what I was technically, there's 25 in that line item, increase it 75
Yeah,
to 100,000.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Make
take
it
care of that.
100,000.
Okay.
So anything outside of that 20,000 would have to be.
Grant
would have to
money,
get grant
flow
money.
through.
Grant money or
Yes.
whatever, yeah. And there's all kinds of grants out there.
Right.
Sometimes there might be some matching or whatever, so.
So if I understand it, District 7 would not be in that.
They would not.
That's what I understand. Okay.
And that's the reason Michael's getting on board with his place to make it a community center, because there's not one in number 6. Well,
Yeah.
the Dawes community, I forgot about that, that certainly would apply, so.
Yeah, but we need something in part.
I thought Tom Bowes was down
Hey,
there.
we can partner up together. His family used to own that property too.
All right. Any other questions on 171? So you got that note, there was a motion, I guess we need to vote on it, right?
I have one other question. So, I mean, as we're going through this planning process in each of these mountain areas, there would still be public notice for the meetings?
Oh, they have to be, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure
Yes.
that's clear. Okay.
Because you want to get community involvement, bring them back in, because this is the taxpayer dollars. And, we need to be diligent and ask for input and utilize that as also a way that people understand we're trying to take care of the taxpayers as well.
Yeah.
And this will come up, if the grant don't come through this year, I think it's something we should keep going forward in capital projects, going forward. These grants are, especially lately, we've gotten grants from 23 we're just now getting into. So this could be a reoccurring budget process. And I know the reason why is because of procurement at the state level with EY. They've never done any government work, and I don't know how they landed that gig, but that's the problem. And they're so slow in
Let me make one other comment, since it's going to affect me, is that at the next census, what if they go out and pick up more county and leave, I don't know how they'll distribute the population. Will that bring us 7 back into this role?
It depends on what the census says, Frank. But the 7 is in here with the $2 million improvement on the old middle school. I mean, it completely lies within. So it's the outlying areas that we've somewhat neglected over the years. So that's the reasoning. Any other questions on 171? Now, we'll bring, this subject will come up again because you may get in the year and you know what you've applied for, but say a commissioner, both commissioners want to come and say, hey, we would like to spend $10,000 to do site work on our possible playground, so to speak. So it would be up to this committee again whether to do that. And I would encourage, as long as it fit what the application to the grant or the scope of the grant was, I would think that wouldn't be a problem.
Call for a vote.
All right. I had a motion and a second to increase line item 390,
791.
791 to, from 25,000 to 100,000 to cover the outlying districts.
And remember, guys, you'll also have to increase the line on the revenue side too for that to offset that grant. So just saying.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Revenue side would add to the 47180, the community development.
Yeah,
Yes, I think that's right.
we should have a revenue line in there for the CCL.
We do.
Yep.
We can show it in the same revenue, it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter.
That would still, even, I mean, and you can do that, but that still shows that expenditures over revenue, right?
Oh, sure. 'Cause
If we
it's
in
a
and out
wash.
it with
a
revenues
wash,
and
yep.
expenditures, it's a wash anyway.
All right. All right, moving on to our, down our agenda, revenue review. I think we've kind of talked a little bit about it, but we'll open it up and discuss some
Brenda, I'll let you
revenues.
kind of segue how we use a 5-year aggregate, sometimes 3, but
We do usually do a 5-year aggregate on revenues, just to get, now we always take James's certified rate for property tax, which is our biggest revenue. Everything else, we run the revenues based on what they've been running for the last 5 years. We just kind of eyeball it and see. Nothing's really out of line. I don't think the biggest one in 101, like he said, was the prisoner boards. They were very, very high this year, so we had originally put them in at 950,000. The sheriff cautioned us on that, said probably wouldn't be that high next year, so we cut it back down to 850,000, which will affect your overall numbers a little.
Which one, which item is it? What
That
page?
is, hang on, I'm looking. Prisoner boards, that's 101-46915, should be showing on your page 4. In your
46.
budget, it is showing 950,000, we have cut that to 850,000.
So this, the revenues, what we're seeing here is 972. Is that, are they all in?
no.
Or is there still, I
We-
know there's always a lag.
We got some more today, but again, we're cutting receivables off tomorrow, the
I'm
next.
hoping to cut receivables off tomorrow and push all receivables from what we've got in July back to June. That will change your middle column numbers in here.
How much came in today on prisoner boards?
On prisoner boards, nothing. What
Okay,
came
all
in
right.
mostly was sales tax.
It's in the system, Tom.
Okay.
It doesn't hit, won't hit for a couple of days, but we can show it in next year's budget, and that's,
We
we want
can.
to do that.
But I like to, I like to give myself a little bit of leeway. I don't like to cut it to the last day, so I'm gonna get with Larry tomorrow, see what's come in, and probably make my receivable entry in the morning. So I can give you an exact number tomorrow afternoon if you want it.
The prisons have their own state system, and what they do is incrementally, over years, go in and try to get all the state prisoners in their own facilities. They can't blame them for doing that, but what happens over time is they get out in these outlying communities, and that's where our increase goes. But at first, they really start moving people out and in, getting business done. So we see that effect.
So we're looking at moving from 950 to 850, right? The one I heard.
Yes. And revenue-wise, that was the only change we made that I remember, is it not, Keith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last year, we left off the SRO grant, had to amend the budget to put that in, but this year we remembered it. That's in there.
Yeah,
The
that's
SRO grant.
48140, that's also on page 4. It's $225,000.
That's the grant.
That's the grant, it's SRO grant. What was that again?
4.6 what?
48140,
Yeah, it's page 4 on down.
page 4.
Contract services, 226.
Toward the bottom.
Yep.
Here, what was the change, sorry?
We're not making a change, we just forgot to put it in last year, we did get it this year, it's all grant money, $225,000. We had to make an amendment last year to get it in there.
If I'm not mistaken, doesn't that grant end in this upcoming budget year?
I think this upcoming budget, unless they re-up it, yes.
We just got the confirmation, though, it's in this year. Got it in the mail a couple of days
I
ago.
remember it was a four-year grant
Mm-hmm.
when we received that.
I think Keith just signed the new one today, didn't you? So it's in, we should get it another 4 years now.
Another 4 is 1 year.
Yeah.
4, from what I understand,
Yeah.
what I signed today.
Question, does that outflow on through to the jail, come into the sheriff's department?
Yeah, but it comes into
But it
101.
comes
They
into
budgeted to
okay.
pay those people to do those jobs, but when we
Right,
get it in,
right.
it
They're
goes
all
back
under
to
the-
us. It don't
Yeah.
go
They're all
back
under
to
the
them.
sheriff's department
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
liability and whatever.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
They're sheriff department employees. It's one of the, not that I'm disparaging, that's one of the hooks that
Yeah.
federal and state loves to do is they want to put more cops on the street, and then 4 years later, they don't send you the funding for them.
And that's based on what, like so many personnel, or is it just a grant amount per district?
It's based on how many schools you have. It's
Yeah.
based on our
What-
3
ours is
schools.
226.
It's like a salary per school, I think. is what I'm saying.
Okay.
$75,000 a school is
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
I remember the 75, right?
No.
All right.
Phases.
Anything else on revenue? There being none, we will move on to one of the topics was raises. So I'll tee it up and then I'll let you talk, right? So in the budget draft that you got, that we've ran, the 5% request that the departments had in, that raise is in there. And as everyone sees, we're still revenue over expenditures. And now I'll kick it off to you.
So let me say this, there's some, and I talked to all the budget committee members, there's some The difference in 3% and 5% is south of $60,000. That's inclusive of benefits. That's 5% across the board. Now, there's been some scuttlebutt and discussion with me talking about those fee offices that receive bonuses should move to 3%. Now, I will say publicly, and I've disagreed with some folks that proposed that, because speaking with this committee, those dollars, those bonus dollars are in their own restricted accounts. That comes out of, they haven't always done that, but they are your restricted account plan. I see you here.
I can.
Yes, please.
We can withdraw the bonus at this time if we do 5% with my office.
Okay.
I'll add it.
You
later.
made it easy.
I'll add them later on with that restricted account within the budget year.
Well, you're able to
Which
do
I'm able to
that.
do that.
You're able to do that.
Yes, sir.
So Larry Lockhart's office, the biggest fee office, he's got bonuses in his office because a lot of that is because they don't charge all the overtime they should. I know they charge a little. That's the only office we pay overtime in typically. We have on occasion paid other, whether it be a truck driver or whatever. But I'm stating, what you can and cannot do in those restricted accounts. So, any questions while Lana's here with the fee office? Kendra, I know you didn't.
I have a reserve account, but it is earmarked only for data processing type things, so computer, software.
Mine is not earmarked for specific.
So what you're willing to do, Lana, let me be clear, is pull the bonus out of
At this
the
time.
budget and do the 5% right now.
Yes.
Okay. Lockhart is not willing to do that. I spoke with him earlier, and he's.
I don't think they need to do it, so, I mean,
Okay.
that's what they're asking for, I guess that's what they're asking for, but I don't think that's necessary.
So I would recommend the 5% across the board.
So I
That's
have
my recommendation.
I have a question on the reserve accounts. Do we know what they are? And, I mean, are they reflected somewhere in the budget, or is that a separate list?
They are not.
Reserves do not
Right, they
reflect
didn't.
in the budget, no, but I can get you a copy of
I mean, how
every
sizable
reserve.
are the reserve accounts?
Lana's
Depends
got a
on the
thing.
office. Some of them are courtroom security in circuit court would be the largest one. Lana's is probably second.
How much roughly, ballpark?
Lana, I think yours is 138 or something like that.
It was 31,000 just this budget year in that.
Lana's is
But-
just under 140,000 if I remember correctly.
but
Linda,
over
if you'll
time,
come to the
it's
office one day, I can make you
accumulated.
copies of every one of them.
I'm going to defend Lana's office a little bit. I think sometimes there's intimidation that we think that if we can't ask for our raises, that somehow we're going to get punished for doing it. I never would have expected her to pull those bonuses because she's an elected official. When we elect officials, unopposed in fact, that I think they know best of what key employees are worth their salt. So I would give her 5% plus the bonuses, same with Larry Lockhart's office. I think the only reason she's pulling back is because we're revisiting it again, even though we kind of discussed it, and we had the same conversation last year. Now, she can ask for whatever she wants. My position is it should be the whole shebang.
So I have another, I guess, thought on this, because we're gonna make decisions on 5%, 501s, fire departments above ask, 10,000 each above ask, school MOE, do we reduce our property tax burden when there is opportunity? But to me, it's like, are we looking out into the future? And are we looking at that reappraisal 3 years from now and looking at what we're spending now, the rate at which we're spending? Do we know where that cross point is between spending and what our anticipated revenues are? Because that cross point is where taxes have to be raised. Do we know where that is? Has anybody done any analysis so then we could work back from there and figure out, are these decisions that we're making today, like revenue over expenditures, that's today. We have that money, so we're going to spend it. But what does that mean as we go down the road Are we gonna have to raise taxes, or can we nip that in the
Well,
bud right
if we had a
now?
crystal ball, let me say this.
It's not a crystal ball,
No,
it's an
listen,
analysis.
That's the reason we do an annual budget every year, to determine what the revenues and/or expenses are accompanying those things. So if we did a 5-year budget, I see your point, but when you do an annual budget each year to determine, we may have to cut expenses, we may have to cut nonprofits, we may have to do all those things. We may have to go to the school and say, school, I need 25 cents, but that's not this year.
No, I'm not talking about annual budget, I'm saying doing forecasting, make some assumptions, just like we did even, in this whole process this year until we got the actual numbers, but make some assumptions and figure out where that point is, where if we stay on this trajectory of spending, at what point do we run out of revenues, even if they're just projected? I mean, you'll get your sharp pencil out every year and you line those up.
Absolutely.
But when you do that kind of forecasting, it's much better to make decisions on the budget this year to make sure that we can ride that wave, I'll call it a growth dividend, as long as we can without raising taxes.
Well, unfortunately, over 15 years or so I've been here, we've had to raise taxes a couple of times. And that happens when cost of goods go up, a lot of different causes. When you've got an ambulance service that has to charge off $3.1 million, costing over $1 million
Different
a year.
circumstances.
We've made those necessary cuts. A lot of these same commissioners, and they'll do it again. Whoever gets elected, they are charged by the people a sworn oath to uphold and balance the budget. They'll do it again, whether I'm here, whether I'm not. And I believe in our system, and I believe that going forward, they'll do the right thing. Whatever the cross point may be, you make a valid point. I understand where you're coming from. But that cross point could change from year to year. I know it gives
It could, but it informs this year's decisions.
I understand. Well,
A lot better than just saying, let's give them 5%,
well, it's
why
not
not
just
10%?
it's not
Why
just saying, Linda. I'm listening to these elected officials who work each day and have to provide necessary monies to feed these employees' families
I
each day.
understand. But we also, CPI this year was 2.7, and the state made decisions all the way down to your level, right, on that CPI.
All the way down to my level. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I
That's
mean,
right.
there's a lot of state employees in that calculation. So I'm saying, what is the basis? Sarai came in here with her budget, even before we had the numbers, and she made a very good case, 3% based on CPI, and then a sliding scale, because what's important to the schools is that retention. That block of time in service, that's more important for her to retain, to maintain quality. That made sense, but I didn't hear any justification other than we need 5%.
Well, Miss Sarai Pierce is pretty polished. And I will tell you this, and that's a compliment, Sarai, but they started over $50,000 a year.
I know, but I'm complimenting her. I'm saying she
I
came
am
in here and
too.
justified,
I am too.
what she proposed.
But I'm looking out for the sanitation worker, the person that's been here 18 years in Kendra's office is making, or 20 years making $18 an hour. That's not a livable wage. So I'm encouraged by these elected officials who call the adjacent counties. And if you really want to look at somebody that's proactive in employee benefits and salary, go to Bradley County and see what they're doing.
It may be noted too that the school historically, we've taken leaps and bounds above the other departments. We were given $1, $2 an hour a raise for our paraprofessionals in previous years. That's why we were able to take it down to the 3% this year. But we were given significant raises the past couple of years.
I mean, this is nothing personal with Mr. Lewandowski. Now, we do this all the time, so, I don't want anybody to take that wrong. She makes a valid point, but I'm making a point, and I listen to these elected officials, and, and I think the county, and I'll make this statement, has never been in as good a fiscal shape, with an F, than we are today. I believe that wholeheartedly, but I've seen the days when our fund balance was $20,000, where we borrowed money from the school just to be able to get through for the next month. when we were truly robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm grateful for our school system. They set a splendid example of the way the rest of the county ought to be run. I've stolen everything Sherry Johnson knows, almost. So I'll continue to learn from that. Iron sharpens iron. I'll continue to be on that quest.
Well, and the justification, I'll answer the question, I think the question was posed. The justification for me is I believe they're underpaid. And you brought up the state's overpaid. So I'm not concerned with the state's CPI, COLA. They're already getting a very good livable wage, including you, Mr. Cartwright, and every other elected official. It's the workers underneath the elected officials that have been grossly underpaid for the 12 years I've been here and probably the 30 years before it. So we're catching up. We're constantly catching up. That's, for me, the justification. Why I don't even think 5% is enough, but I'm voting for it. So that's the justification, is they're underpaid at the grassroots level. That's the justification.
3% of 3 times the pay is 3 times the money.
Yep.
So last year we said we were in the same predicament with what percentage to choose. And we said we needed to update a personnel policy and also look at people that were maybe underpaid. Certainly, I don't hear that anybody's overpaid, but we were supposed to look at that and see exactly where those points were and what we needed to do to adjust that. The school has obviously adjusted theirs already to what the law says, and actually has done a great job on it. But we have not met all year.
Well, that came up in committee, if you remember, and it died for a second.
We never had a committee meeting.
Well, it died for some lack of
You talking about the personnel committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have one,
To
you're
really
right.
take a look at the issue
Right.
instead of just sitting here and, spitballing underpaid. How do we know that, is what I'm asking.
You can look at the pay stubs in my office. Right now, I'm trying to hire somebody to replace somebody, and I can't get anyone to come and work that can pass the background check. Starts out $13.50 an hour.
There you go.
Well, that's the reason Miss Lehman left.
Yes. She took another job for $20,000 more per year, and who can blame her?
Someone that worked for 30 years and made $17 an hour.
But
But
now,
that's what I'm saying. We
I
were
can't
supposed
get
to address
anybody to
that
even
problem.
come for an
know that.
interview.
I can ask people right here how much they make. You floor it when you see the hourly rate. As I talk to them, I ask them, how much do you make? My God, your person in Bledsoe makes $5 more. They don't even know it. I don't want to tell them. It's just depressing.
That's not the point. We were supposed to take, that's one level.
That is the point. It's
One
exactly
level,
the
point.
right, in your, but is everybody on that, have that, every level inside your group of personnel?
That's why
Is
you're
it the
giving
same
bonuses.
story? That's what we were supposed to look at, and we never even met, even though there were requests for the committee to meet. And look at those problems. If we're underpaying employees, then we need to work on that.
Well, I depend on the elected officials to convey to me what they need to run their office and to retain staff. They do their homework. I really don't think we need to study.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to leave the raises at 5% and leave the bonuses alone. That's my motion.
And I second that.
Motion from Tommy. Let's stay right where we're at. And second from Brian. All right, any more discussion on it? I mean, I know we've pounded on this horse a little bit, and Ms. Lewandowski makes some good points on what personnel committee or whatever we probably needs to look at. I'm not on the personnel committee, so I don't know. I'm on the budget committee, but we got to look at what's in front of us, what's here today, and what we're trying to get passed. And in my opinion, guys, and we can debate this and we can move forward with the rest of this. I will say one thing, regardless of how much we're hashing out right here, if you look at this budget, what we got so far in a draft, it's a good budget. I mean, can stuff be improved? Sure, it can be improved. We're all human. We can all improve. But this is a good budget at this point in time, right? And
remember, a budget is an educated guess.
I mean, I just gotta say this, you gotta feed the roots or the tree don't grow.
That's correct.
Amen.
So, I had a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I will vote on this, but we need to, and it's in the minutes from last year, that we had to have the personnel committee meet, and we did not, even though there were several requests. I'm still gonna, if we have underpaid employees still, we should be fixing that problem during the year.
I'm not
That's
gonna argue with you
That's
on
not
that.
this committee's issue, but here it is, second year in a row.
And I'm not gonna argue with you on that, Linda.
But what I,
agree with you.
what I would encourage you to do, Linda, is get some of the elected officials on board with you to petition that. We're a general law county. Your job is to vote on what's presented.
That's right.
Yeah.
I understand that.
All right. Next on the agenda was fire departments. So as everyone can look in the fire protection line item, and Keith and I had talked, and I asked him to, when we got the rate, I wanted to run it to see where it landed, because as we know, the fire departments is a donation, and they'll make do with whatever we give them, right? But the donation we ran with was $40K for each fire department.
Make a motion to approve $40K to each fire department.
Second.
Motion from Tommy, second from Tom. Discussion.
So are we gonna talk about the nonprofits as a whole? Because, so here's a good example of the S. They came in, you know, we asked them to, there was a county executive sent a letter to each one and asked them to present, you know, so they're lined up with the law this year. They presented their case. All of them presented that they, you know, they asked for 30K and they said they could live within 30K. So again, I'm gonna ask the question, what's the rationale? I mean, again, they will use everything that we can give them, I understand that. It's an important service to our community, but what is the total that we're gonna wind up spending on nonprofits this year? Are we gonna accept everyone at their ask, or are we gonna cap it at last year's?
So I think right now the question in the motion we have is simply for the fire department. So I understand what you're saying, Ms. Linda.
But it's part of the bigger whole.
No, but right now the motion second on the table is for the fire department funding.
So to digress just for a moment, back to Ms. Lewandowski. Every request that showed up that night and requested money, all the old ones plus the new one with Thrive Sequatchie, the $10,000, all of that is in this budget, every request. The best way for this commission to give back to our entire counties, through the fire departments and these nonprofits that work for nothing, serving their community for us. So we had money, after we got the penny and ran the revenue numbers, we saw that we had money to do these things. We've talked about giving money back to the property owners based on the tax rate. We're giving money back through services, through our nonprofits, and also through the fire departments. That's how I see it. Now, I don't vote, but I'm giving you my opinion. If it's my job to let you guys know how I feel, and that's what I'm doing tonight.
Linda, I'm not sure if you could explain, help me understand about, I know you've been vocal all through this about how we're not supposed to be giving fire departments the money because it's not, you know, we're violating, because they're not turning the budgets. We discussed this many times. But in lieu of what's been happening with nonprofits, can you explain to me why, without policing things, why is it right for one thing and why is it wrong for another? I can't understand.
No, I'm not against giving money to fire departments. Last year the issue was they're not complying with the law, or we weren't complying with the law. We voted on organizations and their asks when some of them were, you know, the registrations or their charitable status has expired, and that's not in accordance with the law. So this year we went forward and we asked for paperwork. They briefed us. wasn't a perfect thing, but it was better than last year. But, you know, I keep seeing asks, you know, they come in, we tell them, tell us how much you need. So they come in and they do that, they show us their budget, they show us where the money was spent last year, if we gave it to them, and then where it's spent this, or where they intend to spend it this year. But then we also, this commission continues to accelerate, or, you know, to add on to those asks. So I'm not against giving fire departments money. I'm against when somebody comes in and asks you for money and you're asking them to justify it and prove that they're a 501, charitable status, all that. That's great. But when they ask for money, we continue to add to that. That's more taxpayer money over and above what those organizations ask for.
So would you prefer there not to be no fire department, so the taxpayers
That's not the
don't
issue.
see
That's not the
that?
question she
Yeah,
asked.
you said it would just keep adding to it every year.
It's not the only one.
Everything goes up every year.
Brian, you're gonna represent, you're wearing your fire department
No,
chief
I'm
hat.
not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm
Okay,
not.
they came
All right,
in and they asked for
hey,
30.
let's get it back under control here just a
Yeah.
minute. Chester, what, you got something to say? What?
Back order.
All right, so let's just bring this back. I know this is a passionate discussion, but, and Linda, you make some points. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, this is what has been proposed, and I get it. The fire departments, when they came in, their ask was whatever you guys can afford.
Exactly.
We will try and make
And
it
we
work.
survived on $5,000.
We survived,
It's
right.
not, you guys asked for
And-
30.
No, I sat at the end of this table and said, whatever you could give me for the Freedonia
You
Volunteer
never
Fire
even
Department.
submitted your budget to us.
Keith,
I've got your budget.
thank you.
I've never seen
Right.
it.
Let's make it simple.
Well, the bottom line, what I'm talking about is when people come in and ask for money, good one last year, I'm not against fire departments, so please don't change the rationale that I'm using here and put it in another direction, because I am not against fire departments whatsoever. They provide an extremely valuable service to our communities. What I have a problem with is fiscal management, the rigor that if somebody comes in and asks you for a certain amount and we think that's justified, then that's fine. But it seems to me that we're adding to it just because we have the money. And that goes back to my point, where is that crossover? We're adding money, we're taking taxpayer dollars, property tax dollars, and we're adding to what people ask. We're adding to our expenses, we're expending more money.
Well, historically,
Fine.
the fire departments, I'll segue off this, and we're gonna, I think, call for the question, but the fire departments have gotten by on what we could afford to give them. This year, we can afford to give more. Some of the fire chiefs, some of the commissioners have come to me and said, hey, can we do 40,000 this year? I'll run the numbers. I would do that for any commissioner, or we would run the numbers and see if we can afford it. Those documents in front of you, this proposed draft budget clearly shows that we can afford it this year. And I'll go back, we do an annual budget exactly for that crossover point. I know I'm sitting here thinking about it. That's why we do an annual budget, not a 10-year budget or a 5-year budget, or, revenue situations change, cost of goods change, always. Revenues, grants, they all change. That's what it's about, so.
I think we should give them more. If my neighbor's house is on fire, I'm not calling the comptroller's office to see if we got fines. I'm calling the fire department. That's simple.
All right, so I've got a motion and a second. We're gonna call for the vote for the 40,000 for the fire department. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next on our agenda, we're about to run through this. Next on our agenda is school MOE sales tax interest income.
Okay.
Jump on that.
This commission, because of reduction in students that the school system has, we have the ability, because our MOE has shrank. I mean, there's money out there that we could claw back. Again, I state this. This budget clearly shows this budget is ran without clawing back anything from our school system. They do an excellent job with their money. You know, looking at this, again, guys, and I'm telling from Sarai down, if we need the money, we're gonna come to you and we're gonna get it. And when that bus garage comes up, we expect a little leniency our way. So I will say that's not a negotiation. I'm just being truthful. We need that. But I'm telling this budget committee, it's my view, they've done a splendid job. They're going to continue to do that. They've been doing a splendid job for 25 years. I will tell this commission, we don't need their money this year. Now, do we have an opportunity to claw back 6 or 7 cents? That's $70,000, which is about $500,000. Yes, we do. But, you know.
I make a motion, we leave the MOE, the sales tax, interest income alone for the school system.
Say that motion again, please.
That we leave the MOE, the sales tax, and all the interest income, we leave them alone. That's the motion. And we've got a second.
I would second it, but just it's a year-to-year analysis, which I think is by law anyway, but that's, I think, Tom, you're open to that.
Yes.
Something we look at every year, yes. Second.
Discussion.
Who got the second?
I'll give it to Tommy.
Venero?
Tom,
and then
sorry.
Tom Panero.
All right. I have a motion and a second to stay right where we're at.
Clarification of a percentage of the budget would be about what? Total budget.
Total
Percentage.
budget operating plus grant flow through, I'm going to guesstimate our schools make up more than 50% of our total budget,
Probably about 55, right?
probably 60%.
Yeah, 60%, okay.
So I think I'd like to present a little bit more information, because I worked this through with CTAS over the last couple of months. The opportunity is really to reduce, yes, the population at the school is down, but there's an opportunity to trade, if you want to think of it this way, property tax dollars, property tax, our obligation to that MOE for sales tax. That wasn't mentioned. Sales tax was underestimated, we pulled in more. Why would we not want to claw back that money? It's not clawing it back. You're not going to change the MOE. What you're doing is swapping colors of money. Okay, so the sales tax is the swap for our obligation of property tax dollars. The schools are sitting on $21 million in reserve, $21 million. County gets 2% interest, roughly 2% back every year. The only people that are making money on that, it's not the taxpayers, they're not realizing any growth dividend. It's really the investors who invest that money. Why would we not want to take these opportunities to take those dollars, those property tax dollars, and pull them make those available for other priorities? Why would we not? We're not changing MOE. We're not starving the school whatsoever. What we're doing is changing the colors of money because we have the opportunity to do that.
I think I'm a little bit confused on why would we take other opportunities when we don't want to pay a little extra to the fire department. So I'm a little confused on
No, we're not taking that MOE and reducing it because we can't by law, correct? We're doing.
You cannot reduce the MOE.
Right.
But we have the ability, as I stated earlier, to claw back right at $500,000, give or take. It could be 520, it could be 450. So they're aware of that. They've been great stewards of the money, is my point.
But we're not, I'm talking the sales tax
I understand.
opportunity
And
to
that's-
reduce the property tax
The sales tax
obligation.
is part of the MOE.
I know that.
calculations.
So we're swapping property tax dollars, which normally go towards that MOE, for the sales tax dollars. We're leaving that and we're taking the property tax dollars to be available to use to other budget priorities in the county.
Well, they have historically used those sales tax extra dollars and the investment income dollars. The 15 years I've been here, they've never come to this commission since I've been here and asked for 1 penny. We've allowed them the growth plus the extra sales tax dollars and also the investment income dollars. Now, 1 year, several years ago, we split the investment income, and that helped us out that year. And but again, it comes down to this year. We are solid in our budgeting, and we don't candidly need the money to make this budget balanced.
This year.
This year, that is correct. Again, next year, we'll do another budget.
And we'll revisit this again next year.
Yeah, one question I had on it, it's a stupid question. Is it based on the number of dollars we paid them last year, or is it based on the percentage of the budget we paid them?
It's
last
based
year?
on their budget, their estimated budget. MOE
Their
is
budget.
calculated on their budget, not actual dollars.
Okay. I need that to be clarified.
So the actual dollars they receive, above and beyond what they estimated, they've been keeping. We have looked at that over the years. We know what's happening. We looked at that as not it extended growth. I'll use that term. As the county does well, they're going to do well. So, yes, we do have the opportunity. Commissioner Lewandowski is correct. Whether you guys want to claw that back or not, that's, you know.
Again, there's that $21 million reserve.
Well, actually, the unrestricted fund
yeah,
balance is more like 14, I think.
Still a lot of money in reserve.
So the $21 million, and people don't need to get hung up on $21 million. Ms. Pierce and Ms. Johnson clearly sit right here and explain to us the breakdown of each one of those. And the undesignated fund balance, it was like $9 million the night you all were here, undesignated.
Right.
But I also think that Ms. Pierce made the statement, you've got 3 roofs that you've got to replace. I think you've got 20 HVAC units that are 20 years and older, correct? So if you begin to look at those items, sure, we could sit here and take money back. But every time you do that, then their overhead remains the same. And we make them reduce their fund balance just like it would reduce yours at your home checking account. I have sat here in years when there was an absolute fight between this table and that room in there. And we have made great strides, and I'm super proud of the hard work over the years that our school system has done. And to belittle them, or belittle is not the right word, but to berate them because they've done a good job and got $21 million in reserves. It's about $9 million, and they're good stewards. Their overhead remains the same, and I will vote to leave them alone.
I would add,
Ma'am?
what I want to say is, this is probably not the most logical financial explanation for it, but from the day I started, if it had not been for the school system, we would have starved as a county, starved. We borrowed $1 million from them year after year. Again, we can go, why, that doesn't even matter, we did it. So, again, some of this is to me, a acknowledgement, maybe even a thank you, maybe even catch us again if we ever run into a problem. That fund balance, they could use to help us out again. I don't think we'll ever need it. I think we're in the best shape of any county within 500 miles. I'm going to say so tonight. But at the same time, some of this is a reflection of the past and taking that into consideration. Again, I will take the argument, Tom, that's really not logical financial budgeting. You're right, it isn't. That's my opinion again. So I think when I vote for it, it's that reasoning. There is still a relationship that can be relied upon again. I'm not going to be so arrogant to think we're never going to ever have to go down that route again. And again, as Tommy explained, it isn't the number everyone thinks of, the 21 million horrific giant thing. Yeah, that's a huge thing. The reality is that's not the number. So for his reasons, certainly, and my own personal attrition over the last 12 years of where the school was, that's another reason why. Again, you're answering the question, why aren't I willing to claw it back? Logically, it's all there to do. You can make a great argument for it. My argument against it this year is my reasons. I'm trying to give you that reason, so you know when I vote for it, it's not just to say, well, you want that reduction, I want to argue with you about it. It's not that at all. There is a reason why I'm not clawing it back. Personally, I will not speak for everybody else. That's my own reason.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. When I was a justice of the peace in the late 70s and 80s, some of my worst cussings were right there in that aisle by teachers, I'm sorry, because we fought for every penny that school had. We had no money. And the school system was in such poor shape, and I am so thankful that we have progressed to this. It's been so far a joy to serve on this. But I just want to say that regarding this, and I know you're making some points there, you're making some statements, but I'm having a really hard issue having faith and belief in what you're saying right now because of things going on and bucking some of the things you're bucking. Maybe the schools can have a mandatory donation or something if they get into trouble. I don't know, but this has just really been a crazy hot mess.
Because I'm looking to the future and saying, how long can we ride this growth? And if there's an opportunity, we don't have to raise taxes the longer we can ride that wave. If we can claw back this money, okay, it's not going to hurt the school.
I'm not
Okay?
necessarily I'm talking about everything you're fussing about here.
Different color money. If
You're
we put that
missing the
money,
whole
if,
point.
you know, we already have enough money to cover this budget this year that's proposed. But this is extra money, which could potentially, when we get to that point where we don't have enough revenue to cover the expenses, and then we have to call for a tax hike, this could potentially, you know, soften that blow or move that timeline out to the right. That's my point. It's very different than the points that you're all making.
I don't know what, it's all tied together. I mean, I'm just losing a lot of respect here in a lot of things, and where your fight's going, it's
not a fight. I've got a position.
No, it's not a fight.
No, let's
go.
bring it back. We'll call
Let's
for a
vote.
vote. I think everybody spoke most of their piece, so let's just call for the vote. So I had a motion and a second to leave as is. I abbreviated, but that's it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
One opposed. Motion carries. All right, the only other thing that's listed, and we're getting down to time, what time's the commission meeting? All I've got is other. There's not anything listed here for other.
Well, we've got the Helping Hands issue I wanted to cover.
Okay. Would you like to?
Couple of things I want
to. On that, I'll yield to you then.
Couple of things I want to cover under the other. Is the sheriff here yet?
Yes, sir, I'm over here.
Okay. I'm going to give him a little bit of time. We talked about, I asked him to prepare. We're continue to lose officers. Some of the officers have approached me. I asked him to crunch some more numbers on the jail and the sheriff's budget. I wanted him to give a kind of a synopsis of that. Let him hear what I heard, or let you guys hear what I heard from him, and a plea for a little bit more pay on his officers. So before I get to that, back in January the 12th, the opioid abatement committee awarded Helping Hands an award of some almost just south of $80,000. It was paid out in increments of about $21,000 to $23,000 or so. I think it was $78,000. Linda, you may help me, but we had some problems with the reporting. I asked that Linda take a look at it, that we actually did an audit on it. I wrote a letter April the 24th pertaining to that after some of the reporting came in, and I have Helping Hands folks here today, but I'm not asking you to speak. I know you're here. It has come to my attention, this is April 24th, that Helping Hands is in breach of the provider agreement signed back in 2012-26. And basically, I asked them to bring in some more documentation, giving them to make good. We did the audit. Basically, we canceled I canceled the provider agreement. I signed the original provider agreement or contract with those guys. I've simply stated this went out June the 4th. Per my letter to you, April the 24th, 26, and subsequent to our meetings on May 4th, 2026, I've reviewed all documentation that's submitted and determined that multiple terms and conditions of the January 12, 2026 provider agreement were not met. An audit resulted in findings that a significant portion of the first quarter funds remain unaccounted for or were not authorized to be spent per the provider agreement. Therefore, I'm notifying you that the provider agreement executed January the 12th, 2026 is terminated. Now, this company has worked for years with the sheriff's office and us. They didn't report right. We just felt going forward, or I did, that this provider agreement that we came up with, they weren't satisfying those requirements to that. In addition to, the county reserves the right, this is from the provider agreement, the county reserves the right to claw back funds per the provider agreement that were used for unauthorized expenditures. You will be notified within 60 days of any possible legal action going forward. Now, Jennifer, because of a conflict, couldn't chime in on this, and the attorney we used down in Jasper, I could never get him to respond to my request for determination on this. So as of third day or fourth day of August, I need to let them know if there's any legal action going forward. Now, I want to remind this committee, and I want you guys to help me with this, I'm not in the habit of suing our constituents. We're looking at about anywhere from $15,000 to $18,000. The audit showed they should have to pay back. This was not taxpayer money. This was settlement money. We gave them 1 quarter's funding and terminated the contract. It's my recommendation that we don't try to claw back anything, because the termination of the rest of the contract, did what it did. It stopped the bleeding, so to speak, as we felt. Now, I've encouraged Helping Hands to regroup, restructure, come back at a later time under different circumstances, and they can apply again. We've got 17, 18 years of this going forward, Linda?
16, yeah.
16 years?
15.
15, whatever. So, but it's my plea that this committee finds that no action be necessary legally.
I don't think this committee has any action. Once it goes to contract and the commission approves the dollars, I think it's purely in your court, Mr. Cartwright. Because you sign the contract, we really have no say in this. The terms of the contract, those were worked through with CTAS Legal. It was a very different contract. I think, explained that at the meeting before we voted on it. And it was structured to help them spend correctly, which they didn't do across several areas. But as far as this committee, I really don't think we have any action, because you're the county executive.
Well, for some reason, you wanted to add it to the agenda tonight.
I wanted to understand, I got this weekend, this letter that you dated June 4th.
So you didn't
No, I
tell
just
me
wanted
we
to
don't
give
need
an
to go over
update
that.
to the meeting, because I didn't know where this was when I had asked you, and then you gave me this letter over the weekend. So I don't think we have any action. It's an update to the committee that did approve the initial funding, and then, the commission then, or they recommended approval to the commission, and the commission approved it.
Well,
So
how
I don't
about-
think we have any action.
Well, how about a recommendation from this committee? What say you, Counselor, on the other end?
I actually agree with Linda. You're recommending we don't do it. I agree.
You're recommending a forgiveness type thing.
But I will say that then, when we
It's
get
not taxpayer money.
audited for this, other counties have done services in kind when they clawed back money. You were at those meetings. They've done other you know, ways to recoup that money in kind, not necessarily in cash, so to speak, but in kind by providing services. And we're saying just forget about it because they violated on numerous fronts.
And we terminated the contract.
Right.
Contract was supposed to run for what?
A year. It's a year contract.
year at a
They made
time.
it a quarter and.
Okay.
So essentially, we lost a little over 15,000 is really what the reality is to put against other
Well, I don't
projects.
know that
is
we
really-
lost. They didn't report correctly because they worked
That they spent the
every
money,
day,
Keith, they
so.
lost it. We lost the money. We can't recoup it.
I
County
don't know.
executive asked for a recommendation, I recommend, I want to hear from the budget chair. You're the money guy, what do you recommend?
It's not our action.
Okay, I want his recommendation, I can ask for it, if he can refuse to answer, if Jeff doesn't want to answer, I'm just curious. Jeff Barker, we have the greatest budget, it's a good one, what do you think? Do you think we should sue him?
Why?
Thank you. Is that a no?
That's a no.
Okay.
Well, we'll move forward, helping hands. There'll be no legal action taken, so good luck in the future, and I hope you continue doing what you've been doing.
All right.
Okay, up next, we've got a little bit of time, about 15 minutes. I've asked Bill to come forward, and I don't have a copy for everybody. We've just been discussing this, but I want him to talk a little bit about the plight of our pay scale and the continued loss of officers and what the surrounding counties and the state are doing to our fine office staff. Mr. Bill.
So we've discussed, or, you know, we've known this, it's not something that just happened this year. So my first year in, we began to address this, and the commission approved a 20% increase for our starting rate across the board with sworn personnel and corrections officers. That was a really good increase for that 1 year, but we were still below everyone else around us. So in that year, along with that 20% increase, I also created an 8-step pay plan, and I asked for an agreement from the commission at that same time to do a double jump on this pay step program each year until we get caught up with those around us. And we have done that each year. So the commission's done a wonderful job of cooperating and trying to fix this. And if we did that same thing this year, which was what I presented originally, we would be at, I believe, a 46% increase in starting pay from when we started this now 4 years ago. So I don't, you know, that's a really good jump. The problem is, well, there are a couple different problems, but one problem is that during this same time that we've done this, all the agencies around us have gone up so much. So even though we've jumped tremendously, we're still not up with the other agencies around us and where they've gone over the last few years. So with this year's budget, I did the same thing as we've done the previous 2 years. I did a budget with the 2-step jump, which would essentially be an 8% compound increase in pay for the people on the step plan. And with that, we're still just falling behind people around us. So I also did one with a 3-step jump. And so when I first brought this down, the county executive did not have the revenue numbers from the state, so he didn't know what the budget possibilities were at that point. And it was recommended at that time that we go with the original one that we had agreed on a few years ago, and that's what I left. And then after the numbers came in, and after we lost 2 more deputies to a surrounding agency, it was decided that we should go ahead and go to the next budget that I have prepared, which would be a 3-step jump. Now that one would put our deputies' starting salary at $22.76, I believe. which still makes us one of the, if not the lowest paying agency in the region. Grundy County may be a little below us at that point, I'm not real sure. But just for an example, with Marion County's proposed budget this year, they'll be going to $26.30 for a starting pay. So we're still quite a bit behind them. So that's where we are with that. The same thing on the correction side. The three-step jump on that budget would put us at a starting rate of, I think, let's see, I've got, would put them at a starting rate of 1764, which would put them maybe just a little bit above the lowest paying in our region, and still below quite a few in the area.
Now, guys, Kendall is making copies of this. I've just gotten this the last day or two. Take it home with you. What's going to happen going forward is the third, we will present the budget. We will not vote. You guys, I expect the budget committee members here to get back with me on, after you review this, get back with me, give me your thoughts. If it's overwhelming, and I mean really overwhelming, we'll run the numbers. I'll get Brendan, I'll crunch the numbers on this. We haven't done that yet to see how it affects 101, the general fund. But I will reach out to you if I don't hear from you. I will reach out to you. But I want you to review this for a week, and whether or not to go to this third step, so to speak, this year. If not, if I don't hear from you, we'll leave things as is. But what happens on the 3rd is we present the budget. We present this budget. We wait until the 17th. We have to run the 3 columns. Sherry does that for the schools. We do that for the general fund and all funds. We wait those 10 days for public comment or whatever that could happen, commission comment or whatever. Then we come back on the 17th and vote to adopt the 26-27 budget. That's how it works. So.
Can I ask, instead of the hourly rate, can we do a comparison with salaries and then total compensation package? What you're asking, because that's really the whole big picture. This is just one point in the salary.
Yeah, so that's only COs, that's only the corrections officers, that's not.
No, I'm saying
that's
just
not
across the
school
board, for everything that you're asking for, whether it's deputies or COs, and then, I don't know if the court officer is different. I mean,
yeah,
it's
so.
hard to do analysis when you just get this at the table.
Yeah.
And this new number that you ran, this is still looking at, because remember we talked about an additional officer.
Yes, we have one additional officer added to this budget.
So what's the number in the budget then, I guess? It was 2137,035, right? Was it proposed? That's with the like 8% increase annual that you normally have. I'm looking at the budget that we got in our packets. So what should that number be?
You talking about the jail?
I think what she's asking, if you get the additional increase, what's the total amount for the jail and the sheriff?
Is it
extra
this?
money from what we proposed before?
So it should be around, well, the total amount more than the original.
What's already in there, it's already in here. Now, because you're asking for a little bit more. What's the additional total more for jail and sheriff combined?
Probably around 65,000.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, because we're about to get started.
Okay, guys, we'll take about 5 minutes and let's get ready to go. That clock is wrong. I've been looking at that all night. All rise, please, and remove your hats. As in every meeting we have, we begin with a prayer and then the pledge. So I'm going to ask for Brother Paul Powell to lead us in prayer, and I'm going to ask for Mr. Frank Silver to lead us in the pledge. Mr. Powell.
Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, as we come before this evening, we thank you for beauty and glory this day. We ask, Lord, that you be with each individual represented here tonight. Lead, guide, and direct us that we might do the right thing that you want us to do to move our county forward. These things we ask in thy humble name. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Silver.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I want to welcome everyone to the regular bi-monthly meeting of the Sequatchie County Commission. I want to welcome BTC Fiber, Madalena, Van, for coming and taking care of our video and audio. We appreciate that. First thing on the agenda, approval of the, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, roll call. I forget you.
Chester Shell?
Yes.
Linda Landowski?
Here.
Brian Ruley?
Here.
Lane Lane? James Freeland?
Here.
Brian Walker?
Here.
Joyce Dodson?
Here.
James Wilson?
Here.
Jeff Barger?
Here.
Paul Powell?
Here.
Michael Hudson?
Here.
Jim Dishman?
Here.
Frank Silver?
Here.
Susie Bostick? Here. Wayne Clemens?
Here.
Tommy Johnson?
Here.
Tom Venero?
Here.
Jeff Mackey?
Here.
We have a quorum in your packets. Commissioners, you should have received the minutes from the June 29th special call meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve said minutes. I have a motion from Mr. Clemens, a second from Mr. Silver. Any questions, comments, additions, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none, said minutes hereby passed. Up next is the public comment section in reverse order. I have Mr. Mike Madalena. Mr. Mike, we'll say as you're coming to the podium, thank you for what you do, and we appreciate your services, kind sir.
So I'm more comfortable on that side, so I'm going to just keep this sweet, short and sweet. I just want to say thank you to the county, the city Chamber of Commerce, and the rescue squad for pulling off an amazing 250th 4th of July in Dunlap, and that's all.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Annette White is back with us. Miss White, we're going to, due to the heat and time constraints, let's keep it to 3 minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here again on behalf of my neighbors, of more than 80% who signed the petition that I presented to this commission on the last meeting of May 18th, asking that something be done about the excessive speeding on our road that is posted 25 miles an hour. It's a residential road. A week after this meeting, I called the sheriff's office to get some feedback and was made aware that Mr. Higgins, who is our road department superintendent, had lost a family member. So out of respect for him and his family, I waited to try to get some follow-ups. But then 2 weeks after that, I reached out to Sheriff Phillips, but I was unable to reach him. So I left a couple messages. A week later, I called again. I finally got a hold of him with some follow-up. He told me that he had still not been able to talk to Mr. Higgins, but that he had talked to Mr. Cartwright, our county executive, and Mr. Cartwright told him that the county and city attorneys were in opposition of speed humps, speed bumps due to possible lawsuits, but that Mr. Cartwright suggested rumble strips. Now, I sent letters to all of my neighbors informing them of what I had found out. I followed up on this lawsuit, things that the attorneys were talking about, and I found that in over 10 years, not one lawsuit has been brought about in Sequatchie County or any of our surrounding counties such as Bledsoe, Grundy, Hamilton County, and Marion County. No lawsuits at all. It said that there had been some complaints of cars being damaged by these devices, but that no kind of legal action had been taken. I also found out that there was, in the state of Tennessee, the Tennessee Government Tort Liability Act, which is for local governments that shields them from any kind of liability in situations like this. So really there's no excuse for that. Something that they think might happen that has not happened. But I would like to say that if people are speeding beyond 25 miles an hour and your vehicle gets damaged by a speed calming device, it's your own fault for not following the speed limit. I mean, why should the rest of the residents be held in danger because you're not following the law? Now, I also want to say to that fact that I've lived here for over 17 years on Neal Road. As I told you before, this ain't the first time I've tried to get something done. But I wanted to recall to you guys, because you are our commissioners, we had a family that had 6 children who moved away from Sequatchie County off of Neal Road for fear that their children were going to get injured, killed, or whatever, due to a car at the back that I spoke to you about before that came flying up around the curve right in front of my house, hit their ditch, and spun sideways twice. The same car. Nothing was ever done. We told that girl the first time, we had mercy. We did not call the police. We told her, slow down. You're going to get killed or somebody else. The second time, the police were called. Nothing was done whatsoever. So I'm here tonight. I haven't received any follow-up whatsoever other than Sheriff Phillips telling me what the attorney said. There's been no follow-up from my county commissioners. I haven't, no one that was here at this meeting, if you took anything in about what I said, I've not had any phone calls, no follow-up, nothing other than neighbors. Now, what we want to follow up on is...
Time's expired, Ms. White.
Can I just say these last 2 things, please? We want to request a traffic impact study or a traffic calming request. And I also want to request that it's put on record tonight. Who's going to be following up on it?
If you got that in writing, can you get that to me in writing?
What my request on?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
Very good.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. White.
Thank you.
And what I will do is follow up with you, Jennifer. We'll talk about this maybe after the meeting tonight. But I
Who's
know,
Jennifer?
I know there's a couple of speed humps, so to speak, in the city that are not in the county. So we don't have any in the county as far as I know. So, well, thank you very much.
Well, I didn't.
All right.
And we need them.
Next, we have Mr. Terry Whistler. Mr. Whistler. 3 minutes, please, sir.
I'm here to ask that the Commission rescind its approval of Resolution 813, which authorized lease to the state of property for construction of the cell tower that's needed for 9/11 emergency service. I'm not happy, didn't want that request, because I live in a district that would be served by it. But the circumstances surrounding the approval of that lease were so rife with illegality that as a citizen of this county, as an individual involved and damaged by the county's actions, which I hold to be utterly illegal, I cannot abide silence. I hope I am wrong in my analysis of the illegalities. I don't believe I am, but the cell tower itself is not so much the issue, although the property that was purchased was for the equivalent of $200,000 with no common road access, very few if any utility access, an exorbitant amount, $50,000 for a quarter acre. The road access is constrained through what a adjacent property owner claims is his private road, contests that any right-of-way exists with the county's right to pass over his property. That has not been resolved, and if that's true, then this tower cannot be accessed without eminent domain proceedings. That lease does not address any of that. It seems to assume that there's right-of-way, not a problem. The Ritters are similarly affected and have a similar opinion. Right-of-way easements were accepted by the county executive, as I understand it, without consultation with the commission, who by law must approve the acceptance of private property to the county. And a right-of-way easement is a form of private property acceptance. You never acted. The Freedom of Information Act request that I saw showed no evidence of a request for or grant of right-of-way acquisition authority to the executive. His acceptance of those right-of-way easements are therefore illegal and void. The actions approving the construction or the leasing of the property were not noticed according to the requirements of TOMA, the Tennessee Open Meetings Act. That fact alone renders them void. The lease could not be legal without the proper noticing, and that was not followed. The problem being, to really enforce that requires suing the county. I don't really want to do that, but I don't see any way around it if these acts of illegality are not confronted and stamped out, because it is rife repeatedly in actions taken by this commission that the Open Meetings Act is ignored flagrantly. Years I've been up here saying, look, we need notice. Since 2023, the meetings and the agendas of this commission and its committees by law are supposed to be posted on the county's website. They rarely, if ever, are, which is almost worse than never doing it. Every time that happens, it's a violation, and theoretically, the actions of this commission are null and void without such notice. So there are 10 examples of the illegalities I'm talking about in what you've been given. And if there is no action to address the illegality or explain to me why it isn't, then I will be compelled to sue in Chancery Court or go to the comptroller. Thank you, sir, for the time to speak about the
I'll
issue.
entertain a motion now to rescind Resolution 813. Hearing none, motion not made. That's her action. Next.
Can we read this first, Keith?
Read it. He's the one that brought it to you. I mean, you know you've read it. Haley Huff, come forward, please. I hear the same crap every time I'm up here.
I'm kind of with Mike. I kind of prefer to be on that side of this podium, but I feel...
Speak up a little bit, Haley.
I'm kind of with Mike. I feel I'm more comfortable being on that side of the podium, but I feel like this needs to be addressed. My name is Haley Huff. I'm here tonight to address the elected body as not only a constable of District 4, but as a concerned citizen. Over the past couple of weeks, it has come not only to my attention, but the attention of other elected leaders that there is some questionable behavior happening in District 1 and involves at least one sitting commissioner. While Commissioner Lewandowski has demanded that the 501c3 organizations that seek monetary donations from the county submit documentation of their income and expenses in a budget, the community center in her own district is mandating a donation from political candidates to place a campaign sign on property they don't even own. Sorry, y'all, lost my place. Signs have been removed and then magically reappeared when the issue was brought to light on social media. This is questionable behavior at a minimum and could rise to the level of criminal if law enforcement actually investigated the right way. I feel that you as a body need to know the character of your colleague, and the public deserves to know the character of the candidates that are running for public office. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight, and I greatly appreciate the time and dedication that all of you have served for the county.
Thank you. Haley.
May I say something? First of all, that is a 501c3, it's a private entity.
It is a 501c3.
It's a 501c3, which is a private entity, which these two commissioners have nothing to do with that entity. We don't sit on the board. We run our meetings separate from that organization. We do support their activities because we do support activities in our community. So a lot of those statements that you said are plainly false.
I have proof of everything that I just said.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, I want to make for the clerk, the trustees report on the minutes. Sheriff Phillips, come forward, sir. Give us your good report.
A couple things were brought up tonight that I will kind of hit on briefly. First of all, the Neal Road incident or situation. So I did go down. I think that she had called a couple times when I was out of the office for a few days. But in the meantime, we had talked previous to that, and I had reached out to Eric, and we discussed that. And it was actually Eric, not Mr. Cartwright, that brought up the concern that there could be some legal issues with that, and that was something that they would have to check into. So I gave that information to her. I actually ran down to her house, and we talked about the whole situation there. Also talked with other neighbors down there. We set up extra patrols for our people as they could to go down, and we tried to target some of the specific times that she had given us. But of course, I explained to her, and she understood that we can be there today, but we can't be there all week. And we can help slow people down today, but we can't help slow people down all week. So that's where it was left, and it was during a time that Eric had a death in the family, so there was a little delay there and trying to get all that worked out. So anyways, I just wanted to follow up on that. I did discuss it with Executive Cartwright, and we discussed the possibility of being counter-criminal strips or whatever might be needed there. Since the sign issue at Lewis Chapel was brought up, so I discussed that when this first became a thing. I was contacted by Jerry Root, and she had already reached out to people at the state, and I guess because it makes sense to me that because I'm a candidate as well, I could be a victim just like anyone else and have a conflict in the situation. So the way that was being handled was the complaints were supposed to be made to her, to Jerry Ruth's office, is what she told me, and then she forwards that to the district attorney's office. And as far as I know, that's what was being done in that situation. So that is that. The next thing is, we've all talked now, I think you all know that we lost a couple deputies last month to both to Hamilton County. The amount of money they're starting out at over there is like tremendously more than they were making here. And another big issue is and this is as big an issue for a lot of the deputies, just as big an issue as the money issue, and that is the cost of the family insurance. Because a lot of these deputies are younger, They've been married for a few years, and they've got small children. And on the salaries they're making, and it would have to be quite a bit more actually for them to be able to afford the family insurance as it's offered. So that's one issue that I'll be bringing up through the Tennessee Sheriff's Association, through our legislative committee, to see what might can be done at the state level to try to get that addressed, so that, because it's not just Sequatchie County, it's all the other rural counties around the state that are struggling with that same issue. So I don't know if there's something at the state level that can be done so that we can pull together and get lower premiums, or what might can be done there. But that's one thing that we are looking at. In the meantime, we have had one deputy graduate the academy in Nashville, so we have her out on the streets now. And then we have another corrections officer who is whose paperwork is being prepared for an academy, hopefully later this year. So that's really all I have right now, unless you have any questions.
Questions for the sheriff? Thank you, Bill. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Higgins up next.
All right. First thing I'll talk about is, other than the water that's dripping, is what Bill was talking about, the rumble strips. That's what we had discussed before. As far as I know, that is the case, unless we're going to do something different. However, I did get with the striping company that we bid out. I told them I wanted them to bid rumble strips this year. They're made out of thermoplastic. They're a lot narrower, but they're quite expensive. So, with all the people that's asked for those in the county, it'd probably be quite easy to spend $60,000, $80,000 a year on that stuff. So we have to decide what we can do, when we can do it. It'd have to be like a worst case scenario, maybe with a recommendation of Bill or something like that, and we can have some of that stuff put down. Other than that, my report, y'all have that. You've got my 3-month running averages of the way the taxes come in. Page 2 is the main one. There's a list of roads on there that are on the radar based on money and, of course, weather and all that stuff and how long it takes us to get to it. That's kind of what we're working to, but I won't know for sure how many or which of those roads I can get till I know exactly how much money I've got coming in, because some months are low, some months are high, and we're a little bit behind this year from where we were last year, but I think we're going to catch up this month and next month. And the other thing, I was asked about the mineral tax today and made a phone call to Nashville, pull that up. And everything, talked about it, everything, he's got it on here. The bottom line was, he said the county needs to get a list of all the producers of the certain minerals tax stuff that can be collected on, and it needs to be sent to the Department of Revenue so they can police collections for the county. So I'm assuming we're going to have to sit down and make a list of who I know. Jeremy Thomas, and them, were the main ones for the sample and stuff. But I'm assuming that we need to put the other rock people down on that list as well.
It's a funny thing. They have no problem collecting money in the Department of Revenue, but then
yeah, I know.
They're at a loss for who's on the list. I don't.
Yeah, I know.
They turned that resolution in a year ago, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to, I'll get with you maybe tomorrow.
Well, there's only one or two.
Yeah, there's only one big one. That's the sand plant, the rock crusher, and then there's I don't know if these smaller rock companies would fall into that. The state can police that somehow, I guess. I don't know. But that's what he told me.
Have you got a name that would speak with or contact?
I will get us a name. I'll get us one. And then other than that, we've been trying to do a little bit of paving. We've been working on potholes between tractors, mowers going down, that kind of fixing and stuff. The mowings. We got 2 tractors down right now out of 4. We actually got 5, but We got several down right now because of that with mowing. They're going continuous. And so you're gonna have to be patient. I mean, we're getting ours as quick as we can. We've got people working overtime doing this stuff. So, other than that, I'll entertain questions. What do you got?
Questions for Eric?
Hey, Eric. What about the bridge?
Okay, the bridge project, from the time it was lit, should take, they've got 120 days to complete the project. It's going well. The city got the water line out of the way. They're fixing to tear the old bridge part of it out. And then they'll start working on getting it ready for concrete. So I think from my past experience fooling with this stuff for about 35 years, if everything goes well, they should be able to do it in 6 weeks, maybe a little less. And that's what they think as well. We're fortunate. We've got the best bridge company that I know because work's low for them at the state level. And they should be in and out quickly. If there's any overruns though, the only pocket of money I can pull from to put in that bridge money account will be state aid, so I'm having to kind of set on that until I see how that goes. We get all that behind us. Is that what you wanted?
Can I ask a question?
Lady in the audience.
I just had a question. When you open that bridge, you're gonna have the chamber go out and do a ribbon cut for us?
I think we should.
I do too.
Because it's the first bridge we've had built in years, and at $750,000, I think we should go out there and drink Coca-Colas or something. It's crazy how expensive this stuff has gotten, because just a few years ago, that box culvert wouldn't have cost $200,000.
One more thing, Eric. If you go to work on Neal Road, Miss Annette, I'm her commissioner.
Yes, sir, I know.
Please keep me in the loop.
I will. Yeah, I'm familiar. And it's not that I don't want to put it down, but I have been presented with several case studies where that's cost the counties and cities a lot of money, legal stuff. But
we will be willing to help with the finances because this has been going on for
over 15 years, and Mr. Barger lives at the other end from us and has witnessed the very thing, and nothing is stopping it. Now, we don't care whether it's the speed humps, speed bumps, or the rubble strips. I thought that was a very good idea. The only thing with that is if it's not wide enough, at least 12 inches.
When you go over it, that's it.
Right, I'm just saying, because I see how these things, if it's not at least 12 inches in the middle, they're just gonna go off the road. I've got a video of this one boy who refuses to stop.
We will get with Jennifer, let's get with Jennifer and figure out something that we can do down there to help those people. I know the area, it's right in front of where they live. It's a long straight through there. My sister
I know
used to
exactly
live
where
over there,
it's
my aunt lives there now.
Right.
That's a drag strip, so to speak, down through there. So anyway.
It was down in front of my house.
Any other questions for Eric?
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
Explain this, just so people understand. You just get a certain cent on every gallon of tank. That's sold, right?
I get a stipend.
You don't get a percentage, you just get it off the price. You just get whatever.
Yeah, it's based on county road miles and population. And I can just tell you, you can go back and look at all my budgets. All my budgets are about $2 million a year. That's starting from 8 years ago until present. And my costs are up about 35 to 40%. The only way I've been able to offset that is when people retire. We went from about 24, 25 employees that were down to maybe 18, 20, somewhere around in there. I'd have to go look. And so that makes it harder for me to get out here and get services done. But I mean, we got to do what we got to do. I mean, you can't sit there and pay people that are experts at running equipment $12 an hour. I mean, I'm in the same boat he's in. I have to retain my people. So.
Any other questions? Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. I want to take just a moment. We have a special guest in the audience, our new team member, Sherry Birch Brock. Sherry, would you stand up? She's our new You will sing a solo?
No,
know. I'm just trying to take it all in and learn. And so, but I appreciate the opportunity. Everybody's been very welcoming and supportive. So just
And I
bear
know
with
all the dirt.
bear with me.
Just that knowledge.
Bear with me while I learn.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Sarai.
I do want to start by saying thank you all. Thank you for being great partners to the school system. You have our word. We will continue to be a good partner to you and to our county as a whole. We do want to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. We certainly have a plan, a 5-year plan, in fact, for the dollars that are in reserves. Since I become superintendent, the message is clear. It's always going to be people that matter most. Not unlike every other leader here has said, you have to invest in your people. Our community deserves that, our children deserve that, and that's what I'm going to do as long as I'm given the opportunity. We are fully staffed, I'm glad to say, and we're ready to start the new school year. That doesn't mean that we don't do anything in the summer. Our crews have been very, very busy. I hope that you're paying attention on Facebook. We have posted pictures of our ADA sidewalks there at the soccer field. We've done new HVAC work. Our CTE yard is getting a makeover, and there's big exciting news coming that we're going to have an ag building. That's probably going to be $850,000 up to $1 million. It's going to be a very big investment on the school's behalf. Just last week we had new student registration. We brought in 64 students new to us. Now, I don't know, that'll kind of flesh out as we start the first few weeks. It takes us about 20 days of school to stabilize. Then I'll be able to report to you what our numbers are going to look like this year. I want everybody to know that July 30th is open house. You're welcome to come. It's crazy, but it's a good night. The teachers get to meet their students. The students get to meet their teachers. That's from 5 to 7. August 3rd. Make sure you're not in town for all the traffic, because we will just get ready for the keyboard warriors. They're going to gripe about school traffic. It takes us at least a solid 2 weeks to get everything in place and everybody learning the system, and it'll work if you bear with us. We're not making major changes to bus routes. We're certainly going to accommodate the bridge work happening. We do just thank you in advance for your patience as we work to get our new families in and adjusting, and just thank you. Any questions for me?
Ms. Pierce?
Yes, sir.
What age group are the 64 new students?
It's a variety. The biggest, if I remember correctly, is kindergarten and 5th grade. Is that right? Dr. Cordell's telling me yes, that's right.
Thank you.
And I think they had about 10 each, but the others are just sprinkled throughout. I can email you all that if you want it though. Yes, sir.
I know that you told us, how many different nationalities do you teach in school?
We have 6 different languages spoken in our schools as native language. Yeah. It's amazing, and I hope that you believe in the work that public education does. I mean, we're growing your future, and it's incredible, the miracles that teachers perform every single day with these kids.
6 different nationalities too.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Sarai? Thank you, Serena. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Sheldon with Ag.
Actually gave a written report. There's two parts to it. One is highlighting our counties, it's a couple of pages, and the other is the State 4-H office participated in, or is participating in, a program with the National 4-H Council. They're surveying 4-Hers from all across the country and collecting that data on a national level, but also on a state level. And there's highlights from last year's 4-H index report based on that survey. So everything should be there unless you all have some questions.
Questions for Sheldon? Sheldon, quick and sweet. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Do we have Mr. Dunn here with Puckett?
He was unable to be here tonight.
Okay, you got a report for us?
He didn't provide one.
Okay. All right, anybody want to ask this guy? Put this guy on the spot. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Okay, up next, Miss Janice, welcome back.
Thank you.
Continental. Come up and give you a chamber report, please.
Wow, everybody in Hong Kong, or everybody that I spoke to, which is lots of people, know about Dunlap. I carried brochures, I carried everything, because the Chinese spend lots of money in our country, so I wanted to come to Dunlap. A couple things I want to talk to you about is the 250th birthday, just like Mike Madalena spoke about. Guys, we're a proud community, and our community stepped up, our commissioners stepped up with the reading of the Declaration of Independence on the front steps. I thank you for doing that. The timing, the ringing of the bell, David Carter, and I understand from David Carter was there to ring the bell that he borrowed from the Naval Service. I understand that you had a Liberty Bell made that's the actual size. Thank you for doing that. And then the time capsule. If you haven't seen the artifacts downstairs, go look at them. I took a picture of Gene Hickson on the day that they opened the Western Auto. So great things there. And there's more to come with the 250th birthday. Each of the districts were offered $500. Talked to you in January about it. I want to say that Tommy and Wayne expended theirs doing their homecoming on the end of June. Joyce and James held a wonderful celebration at Harris Park. And they talked about, you know, there's really no place in our district to hold an event, so they did it at Harris Park. Lots and lots of people came. Walmart partnered with them and did drinks and chips. We had people, Brian Keith and Danita Melton, they came and played music. It was just a great event. I'm meeting with Paul and Jeff about doing something at the South End Fire Department. That they can't have, recruiting volunteer firemen is a hard thing, so they're going to do theirs at the fire department in hopes of recruiting new firefighters. So we'll meet and talk about that. We've been honored again by the National Scenic Byway, and the Scenic Byway goes up and down all the way, and we're carrying the load of that. October 2nd and 3rd and 4th is the Small Town America Festival. On the 2nd, we're having Buddy Jewel and the party band that was at Valley Fest. On the 3rd, we're having Exile and some other bands and the Oktoberfest that afternoon and the Puppy Parade. On Sunday, we're having Jason Crabb, and it's going to be a down-home homecoming. Like dinner on the ground and music and just a good time. The Chamber wrote a grant to do a hotel feasibility study, which is back. And that study said that we qualified for a 65-room hotel, which is a good thing because we can't hold bigger events because there's no place to stay. So those, I'm sending that study to Pam Mooneyham, Industrial Development Board, and to anybody else that's interested in seeing it as a developer, we're welcome to do that. We work diligently to promote our community. Thank you for your ongoing support, and if we can ever do anything for any of you, all you have to do is call or let us know. I thank you.
Thank you for your service, Judge. Good stuff going on this summer, the rest of the summer and early fall. Looking forward to all the nice activities in our community. Okay, Ms. Robin Bergen with the library.
Good evening. I hope everybody got our flyer. We had a huge June. Summer reading program blew every record that we had, blew every region's record that the region had. We had just shy of 7,000 participants at the library in the month of June. That was the month of June. My family's read 454,000 pages, which turned into 15,000 books that the families read. We had our Dolly store. It was wonderful. This is an incentive program, and they would get a Dolly dollar or $5, and then we had a store, and they got to come and purchase stuff for all of their hard work. This past Friday, if you guys drove by Coops Creek, you would see bubbles. We had 2 hours of foam green bubbles for Lunch with the Librarian, that's their last thing for the summer. And we had 195 little children chasing the librarian because I was not going to get green bubbles on me. They had a great time with that. We had 69 new families join the library in the month of June. And that, as we all know, our county is growing, and we see a growth every month in our library families joining. The 250th celebration for the library is over, and $20,000 has been accounted for, and we did a float for $5,000, and we had the best time. I do say the float making is not for the weak. I thought, I can run a library, give me 500 kids, it's so much easier. But we had over 1,000 balloons, we had music, and the best part was to see the families as we threw out 5,000 ducks, 2,000 keychains with books on them, and then we were honored to win Best Civic Float for this summer. So we were just proud of that. So that is what I have for the month of June. I don't expect, we're not going to slow down. Of course, I have lots of things coming up in late summer and early fall, and we're growing, and I just want you guys to know that your library is being used. Every square inch of that building is being used. First and second floor every day is being used. So, is there any questions?
The Heritage Farm display thing, is that, is anything progressing? I mean, you were talking about a special thing to create for that. Is it still in progress? I mean, I know you have it, but
we do have it.
Talking
It's
about
downstairs.
something. But were you going to do something from the opening night there when we did that?
Well, I know that we're adding to it every week. John Harmon and I, he's bringing us more information. We're putting it in the 3 reminders and everything. I'm not so sure what the next thing is. John will tell me, and I'll just say, okay, let's do it. So, but I will get back with you. I speak to John next week.
Robin, has Matthew Lee reached out about the windows?
Yes, yes, he has. So we're I'm taking pictures Wednesday.
What about the new sign?
No, the new sign.
Oh, yes. One of Betty's things was to get a new sign for the library because a lot of people didn't know that that was a library. And so I promised her before she passed that we would do a sign. And of course that didn't happen until this year. But our sign is beautiful. I think it added just exactly what the library on the outside needed. And I'm just very honored. It was a local boy who did it. And my board loved it, so that was the main thing, is getting their approval, and they loved it. So, anything else, Paul?
Thank you, Ms. Robin.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. Okay, then we have a sanitation meeting. Paul, I know we didn't take any action, but we had some discussion. You, Tommy, or Chester want to comment on that? Cynthia, I know maybe somebody out, but anybody want to comment on that?
Well, I'll give it out to you. We had a meeting with the sanitation this afternoon to discuss issues that we need to do for the county, for the county's protection, and just different ideas and things that we really need to update on. And we all came to a pretty fair agreement on what we need to do without any complications.
Very good. Thank you, Chester. Anybody else? Thank you for that report. Okay, JP with the veterans, come forward, sir.
So the big things, like I said, we're still awaiting the 2025 GDX numbers. They could be out by the next commission meeting. They used to come out in May, but they're delayed, so September, October timeframe. So as far as our production numbers in TVB, they look pretty good. There is kind of a lag with this new software compared to the one that the previous years were tracked on, so when you account for that, it's pretty close. If you look at what we've done for the year running, we're way ahead of all the comparable counties, and what I do that is they're within 150 veterans of us. I do that number. And the big thing that's going on is TDVS is currently conducting the study, and that's on the back of your paper. This is the implementation of Public Chapters 872, which is the bill will help get passed. And so they're collecting data to verify, to comply with that study. We have a seminar next week, and once we're complete with that, I'll be able to submit our report, our results. So, do you have any questions?
Questions for Jim? Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. Yeah. Kendra, I see you and Karen back there toward the back. Anything from you ladies? The circuit court and our register of deeds. Thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate you guys. Okay, did I leave any other committee out? Don't see anyone. Jennifer, anything from Lee? Hearing nothing. Mr. Barber. Budget chairman.
Quick.
Got a full plate tonight. That's some out tonight.
You got a copy of those transfers?
Absolutely.
I think you scooped up mine. I don't know. I lost mine between here and there. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commission. The Budget Committee did meet this evening. Had some pretty spirited discussions on a couple of different items, but down to the business, we had a couple of items to try to clean up for the month end. And this came as a motion from the Budget Committee to transfer Budget Code 101, 39,000 fund balance, a sum total of $1,811, transferring that to 58,400,510. That is the Trustees Commission.
You've heard the motion from the Budget Committee. Do I hear a second? I've got a second from Mr. Powell. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, said transfer hereby is granted. Mr. Barber.
All right, the second item transfer that the Budget Committee considered, and this also came out of committee as a motion from the Budget Committee, and that is transfer Budget Code 116, transferring from 39,000 fund balance, a sum total of $816.32, and that's transferring to 55,739,312 contracts with private agencies, that same amount, $816.32.
You've heard the motion from the Budget. Do I hear a second? I've got a second from Jim Both. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye of this transfer.
Aye.
All opposed, said transfer is hereby granted. Mr. Barber.
All right. That was all the transfers that we had for tonight. The Budget Committee did have on there on its agenda, and we voted, and this also came as a motion from the Budget Committee to move forward and accept the state certified rate of $1.4582. That is a reduction from the current rate that was $1.8366. I believe is right.
Second that motion.
We've got a motion from the Budget. We've got a second from Tommy Johnson. Any questions, discussion, comments? We've chewed it up all over the Budget Committee. Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt the certified rate of $1.4582.
Chester Shell,
Yes.
Linda Landowski,
Yes.
Brian Ruling,
Yes.
James Breland,
Yes.
Brian Walker,
Yes.
Joyce Dawson,
Yes.
James Wilson,
Yes.
Jeff Barger,
Yes.
Paul Powell,
Yeah.
Michael Hudson,
Yes.
June Dishman,
Yes.
Frank Silver,
Yes.
Susie Bostick,
Yes.
Wayne Clemens,
Yes.
Tommy Johnson,
Yes.
Tom Venero,
Yes.
Jeff Mackey.
Yes.
Motion hereby passes on the certified rate. Thank you, commission. Mr. Barton.
All right, that, sir, is all of the stuff that we would have to go over tonight. The budget committee just kind of summarized. We did meet, kind of go over the a draft of the budget with this new certified rate. Had some really spirited discussions and everything like that, and everyone got a copy of that, and looking forward to August the 3rd when we will present to the full commission.
Correct. Now there's our next, looking at the budget schedule, August the 3rd, we will present the 26-27 budget. We will vote that night. We'll come back on the 17th after the 10-day lull that we have to run the 3 column from the schools and also the county general. Then we'll come back on the 17th and vote on this proposed budget. Thank you, Budget Committee, for your excellent work, and Commission as well. Okay, moving on, I think we've covered all the committees and that sort of thing. No old business to discuss. Up next on the new business was the certified rate. We just handled that at 14582. Up next, I have on the agenda a fellow that has won't be with us after September 1, but he's become a truly good friend of mine, and I've cherished his friendship and his leadership on this commission. What a talented fellow this guy is. And Renee, I appreciate you moving to Dunlap, Tennessee, and bringing this Yankee with you. So, Mr. Tom Bonero, our Chairman Pro Tem, wishes to address the commission in my place. Mr. Bonero.
And I'm going to do it from this seat right here, if that's okay. Thank you, Executive Cartwright, for this opportunity to address the commission this evening, which will be my last official full meeting of the Sequatchie County Commission. I want to start with a simple thank you to each of you for sharing this experience of public service together. It has been a tremendous experience and will forever be a part of my personal life story. Together these last 12 years, we have truly created a solid and stable foundation for the future of our county. At no point in its history has Sequatchie County been in a more confident, fiscal, and operational standing. Among the surrounding counties of Grundy, Bledsoe, White, Van Buren, and Marion, we are simply the best at what we do. We have set the bar high, and we are what other counties strive to be. We offer the most amenities to our citizenry, and the opportunities are endless. This is evidenced every day by the continued growth of our county and new people wanting to call this place home. They want to be here for a reason. Part of this is due to the valuable work of this legislative body. You've all done an excellent job, and yet at times it is disheartening that even in times of prosperity and stability, you have to read or be exposed to negativity and discontent. But this is part of our job, a reality of social media, and just something that comes with the role and that we agree to, and something we need to deal with when we choose to serve in public office. I have chosen to not seek re-election for many personal reasons. One of them is I'm a firm believer in some form of self-limitation of time to serve in public office. Without the possibility of new ideas, new perspectives, and new leadership, things can become stagnant. I will continue to serve and provide guidance when requested, but going forward it will be in a different capacity. This commission also gave me the privilege and elected me to serve as your Chairman Pro Tem. I have always taken that responsibility very seriously by working with the executive on an almost daily basis, every morning, reviewing county business and discussing things important and relative to county. I have always been prepared and on the ready to serve in a greater capacity if the need were to arose. My goal was always to strive for cohesiveness and cooperation. I've always also been aware there would be differences of opinion and viewpoints, and being open to them as long as we present them for the right reasons and for the best interests of our constituents. As commissioners, we have a certain set of duties and responsibilities to execute, and working together, from my opinion, has always brought the best results. Leaving the commission, what I will cherish most is not the positive progress and accomplishments, but rather the friendships forged with many of you. Specifically, I want to mention my true, loyal, and lasting friendship with Keith Cartwright. I have quite literally worked side by side with the man for the last 12 years. We've managed to get a few things done, and I tell you this all the time, I love you like a brother. You've been an outstanding county executive. The proof is in the numbers, and also clearly evident by the fact that you're running without opposition this cycle. But more importantly, Keith, you're an outstanding friend. Second, I have to call out my fellow 9th District Commissioner, Jeff Mackey. When we both were first elected, there was an immediate distrust of one another, and we really did not believe we'd be able to work together. The campaign was contested, sometimes heated, and a very competitive election. And after both of us were elected, we decided immediately that next day to see if there are any meetings of the minds. And much to our surprise, we learned that our initial reservations of one another could not have been further from the truth. Jeff has been one wild ride. We've truly worked together to benefit the 9th District. Sometimes we fight, sometimes we disagree, sometimes vehemently. But I will say we've always in the end found a way to get things done for the 9th District. Most importantly, to you, you've become a true friend. In closing, I want to thank everyone for this experience and wish all of you the best in your upcoming elections. There will certainly be new faces and perspectives, but there's a willingness to work together. Sequatchie County will continue to reap the benefits and be the example for all those to follow. My final thought, when it comes to priorities, in my opinion, the one thing that stands above all else is the charge to take care of your own, something we discussed at tonight's Budget Committee. Always take care of your government employees. Take care of those that volunteer their time every day to make this county better and provide services government alone cannot provide. Without a volunteer force, this county would lose a ton of services. And despite all of our accomplishments, I still believe we can do better and that we remain behind the curve on workforce compensation and volunteer support and assistance. We are only as good as those that provide the services we all demand, require, and rely upon every day. They deserve more, we know it, and as you know, the more you give, the more you receive. Always keep that in mind. In closing, I want to thank my wife, Renee. The sacrifice of this time and stress doing this work can be great, but it could not have been done without her full love and support, which she has given the last 12 years, and now we're done with this chapter. Thank you.
I almost cried, Tom. We're gonna figure out how to use Tom's talents going forward. I don't know how yet, but we're gonna figure something out. We're gonna let him do something else. Thank you, Tom. That's all I can say. Frank, we're gonna get to you in just a moment. Next, we have the appointment of notaries. Read us the bill of fare, Miss Lana.
All right, we only have 3 tonight to be approved. We have Valerie Elaniki, Gina Boyd Presto, and Robin Burton.
What's the will?
So moved.
Have a motion for Mr. Matthews, a second for Mr. Shell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Do we know this Robin Bergen character?
Notaries are hereby granted. Okay, next, and we'll close right after this, my good friend Frank Silver won't be with us after September 1. Frank, I've enjoyed him so much. What a solid gentleman this guy is. Retired, he's a thinker, he's a wonderful family man, and Frank, I'm going to miss the back and forth you and I enjoy. And I want you to say a few words, and I appreciate you, good sir, and I
Keep it
wish
short,
you the very
Frank.
best.
I appreciate Chester sitting here. He's already told me I did not get a standing ovation. So there's something to be said to that. No, as things go, and the good old American way is that I will come to an end of this in August, I guess. Anyway, I want to start off by thanking the District 7 folks that have been putting all their trust in me for the last 6 years. Started off by being appointed, not elected. And that was a unique experience. Clint Huth, he put my name up, and most of you know this. But anyway, I had a few words. It won't be as long as Tom's. But I do want to thank all these professionals that are in this room, that all of them have been given reports, all of those systems that they operate and take care of, because they have always been forward with their information, their advice, and their knowledge of what those jobs are. And as a commissioner, we don't have that opportunity. But we have to depend on those folks, and if they do their job, we look good. So anyway, I am thanking all of these public officers that have been giving us this guidance. Quick history lesson. I'm an old fart. And we moved here in 1974, and we're not from here. Everybody you ever talk to, are they from here? No, they're not from here. And I would dare say, if you look around in the room, a majority of you folks are probably not from here. And that's where we are in this growth potential that we're in. Population of the county, I looked up a couple of numbers, and I'll share this. Population of the county in 1974 was about 6,400 people. City of Dunlap population was about 35 of that, 3,500. There were more people in the city than there were in the county at that point in time. Farming, timber, and coal mining were the main industries. Anybody care to guess who the school superintendent was in 1974? Carl Adams. And we have his kids here, his kids, Janice and David. There's a couple of other things. There were 2 banks in this entire county. One was an old bank, one was a brand new bank, been in operation for 1 year. It was in a trailer. Let me think, a couple of other quick thoughts. I think there were 2 grocery stores. One called Goodlet's maybe, and the one on the north side was J and...
Big J.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I remember the grocery stores. 3 insurance agencies. I happen to be one of them. The other 2 was Simmons Insurance. He was in a trailer. And I guess Frank Barker was probably the 3rd one in the bank down there. Shortly after that, State Farm came. So my whole point in all this is to say this is where we started out. 3 gas distributors, Gulf, Texaco, and Exxon. That's right. And I don't think we have any gas distributorships left in the county. They've moved on other places. The last one was Jan Johnson and his family. Let's see. Drive-in theater. Everybody been to a drive-in theater? That was here. We had about 3 drugstores. And then we also had the government agencies, Farmers Co-op, and we also had a railroad. A lot of folks have forgotten that. That road at 111 was built with the idea that that track went up under that thing. Well, by the time they got the bridge built and the road built, the railroad was gone. But they wouldn't change their mind a whole lot. So anyway, in saying all of that, the most important thing we found in this community was that the neighbors helped their neighbors. And we've got to keep that, people. We have a lot of other issues, but that we got to keep. And then I put down a couple of things I've learned in the past 52 years. Important. Remember this, number 1, remember, asking for government help always comes with a price. Whether it be health, transportation, clean water, law enforcement, education, animal control, recreation, fire protection, and many, many more out there too numerous to mention. What does it take? It takes money. And the question becomes, where do we get it? We get it from basically 4 sources. The Fed, the state, the local, and gifts from individuals. The rest is from volunteers who donate their time and their effort. Not money, but their time and their effort. We can't do it without the volunteers, people. That's the fact. And then, let's see, I had one other thing. Any time you want to slice it, or any way you want to slice it, the money to operate comes from the citizens of this county, state, Tennessee, and to a lesser degree, the federal government. Who is the government? We are the government. And we cannot forget that. And who is the source of the government's revenues? We are the source of that money. We can't forget that either. Why I'm saying all of that is to say this, that this commission is responsible for those dollars, and we try to spend them the best way we know how. And sometimes it's good, sometimes not so good. But that's the way we operate. We are a balanced budget state. Now then, number two, we're still building churches in this county. And that's quite an accomplishment in this country of ours. Very proud to be a Christian. And we're also, who are we attracting? We're attracting other people like-minded, conservatives, and want to do the best thing for the other neighbors that's still in this community. And then last, as commissioners, this is to the commissioners, the others to the audience, we pledge to support the Constitution, and that is not to be taken lightly. We must serve our citizens with integrity, be truthful at all times, be transparent in all of our dealings, practice good ethics, avoid conflicts of interest, whether seen or unseen. And then I leave you with this thought, a piece of scripture that I have built my reputation or entire household around, that I try to live with every day, is Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. Anybody in here care to guess what that says?
Top thoughts.
It says, "In everything therefore, trust people the same way and treat people the same way as you want them to treat you, for this is the law of the prophets." And as Patton said, and I paraphrase, my gosh, how I have liked this job and how much I'm going to miss it.
The 250-year celebration continues all year. If you want to look at the exhibits from the 50-year capsule on display downstairs, do that tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to shut that thing down tomorrow afternoon. I'll keep those. We'll catalog some of those and put those up. And a lot of the family have asked for personal letters, that sort of thing. We document that by camera, digitally. So anyway, I'll just give you, if you haven't had time to go through and look at that, whatever. If you got a fair poster, man, give us the announcement there. It's coming up, I know. August 11th.
Very quickly. August 11th through 15th, the Sequatchie County Fair this year.
Thank you, Ms. Good. Yeah, we've got big events there, and hopefully they don't start working on the roof during that time. But I pray God.
Very helpful. There's no construction.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. I have a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second? Second. Please stand adjourned.
Hey, Frank. I'm glad we did that.